snap.
Let me pull up your stream on the other monitor. Right now, it looks like I have my stream pulled up, like I'm watching my stream, doing my stream.
Looking. Oh, I'm not streaming anything. Should I be streaming something?
No, I'm just gonna have Manny's little cam on above my cam.
Okay.
Y'all. Twitch, YouTube. We should probably figure out how to upload it to other places too. What up? What it is. Y'all, this is a live podcast, live Twitch. What do we call this?
We're
call
twitching
this
live.
with your mouth.
Yeah.
MBG live. Breathing with your mouth, reading with your mouth.
Right.
All you can eat. We got a bunch of different names from Mouthbound Comics. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I don't like to put labels on things. Okay.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
We're talking about Alex Ross's Fantastic Four Full Circle today. Excited to get into this, but first we got to make some plugs, as always.
We got to know who he is. Who is we?
Yeah, you're on this stream right now with the Mouth Breathers Guild, of which you have me, Keevy Spicy, writer, lore master extraordinaire. We also have on the stream above me, that's the Manny Draws.
That's me. I draw on a Manny.
He draws. We also have with us Ben Hill.
What up? Not to be confused with Benny Hill, but if you got some yakety sax to play, that'd be sweet.
Hey,
and I draw stuff too.
It's true. And you got a Kickstarter out.
I do. I have a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Oh, do we talk? Let
me pull up the Kickstarter on this other little screen here.
Yeah.
Seems like a good idea.
Let's
do a live look at the count. I looked at it this morning. Actually, I looked at it this afternoon when I was sending out the weekly update, but I haven't looked at it since then. So
look at this. We got $2,243 pledged to the $2,000 goal. We got 42 backers. 15 days to go. Guys, go on Kickstarter. Look up the Time Police. I don't know if I can. Can I share links in my Twitch chat?
Maybe. You can give it a shot.
Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
The Manny's.
Yeah.
Guys, go read the Time Police. It's on Webtoons too, but you should get a physical copy. We got tons of cool stuff. I personally ordered the variant cover by Manny because he's handsome and talented.
You heard it here first.
There's a couple variants on this. This is a good book made by good people. Ben, give us your little pitch.
Yeah.
So you got Buddy Time Police, Jay and Ben, and they're out protecting the time stream from some crazy wackiness. And we followed this mysterious investigation to see exactly what might be going wrong with the timeline. So, as you said, Kev, it is out there on Webtoons. It is also on Instagram. So you can go out there and see everything we've posted thus far. And guess what? Everything that's out there is going in the book. And I mentioned we have Manny's cover. We also have a cover by This Is Siler. So we're super excited to have everybody jump in and support us, and it is fully funded. So guess what? That means that it's actually going to happen. Like, there's no guessing.
Hey.
If you support it now, you're guaranteed a copy of whatever it is that you order. So go out, do it. 15 days left, right?
Yeah.
Heck yes. 15 days. Get yourself a copy of Time Police.
Yeah.
Good
do
book,
it.
good people. Support local artists.
I dare you.
And Manny and I, we make books.
That's right.
Books right here.
Books.
This is our collection of comics set in the world of Phyrexia. It's called Renowned. It's a bunch of sci-fi high fantasy tales about monster hunters, bounty collectors that are out there killing big old baddies and collecting coins for it. We've got kind of lore of the overworld, different characters running into each other on team-ups, some fun monster stuff in here. Guys, it's a fun time. What are you doing?
Red Ranger for life.
Red Ranger for life, baby.
Appreciate that. But today, we're talking about a comic book made by a seasoned veteran, one of the greats. His name is Alex Ross. If you don't know who Alex Ross is, we did an episode about an Alex Ross book called Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Read that too. It's much bigger than this, much more dense, much heavier on its thematic depth, breadth, width, scope.
Yeah. And a different way. Like, he was doing gouache paint. This is in acrylic black ink or acrylic black paint and also ink. So it's doing a little experimentation on this Fantastic Four book. It's pretty sick.
Heck yeah. Fellas, just general impressions of the book before we really dive into it. Well, I can read a little solicit too to get us warmed up.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. It's a rainy night in Manhattan. Not a creature is stirring except for Ben Grimm. When an intruder suddenly appears inside the Baxter building, the Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, the Invisible Woman, Susan Storm Richards, the Human Torch, Johnny Storm, and the Thing, Ben Grimm, find themselves surrounded by a swarm of invading parasites. These carrion creatures composed of negative energy come to Earth using a human host as a delivery system. But for what purpose? And who is behind this untimely invasion? The Fantastic Four have no choice but to journey into the negative zone, an alien universe composed entirely of antimatter, risking not just their own lives, but the fate of the cosmos. So, y'all, I have not really dove too much in the Fantastic Four comics. I've read Grand Design.
Mhm.
I've read a little bit of Ryan North's current run. Haven't dove too far into it. This is really my first full, like, what feels like story with the Fantastic Four that wasn't the early 2000s live action movies.
Oh man,
They
yeah.
are great.
Okay, yeah. Fantastic, really good.
They're really goofy, but I feel like the Fantastic Four are kind of inherently goofy. So
It's true. I mean, the big old stretchy guy that's on fire, and Rockman, Invisible Woman. It's all like simple powers, goofy powers. It's definitely like a dude that was super tired, just like messed up on the anatomy of one character and was like, I don't know, this guy stretches.
yeah, hey.
You know, I feel like that's probably what happened. Jack Kirby was just like, nah, I'm gonna go with it. Yeah, he stretches all the time.
Yep, exactly.
I want to go to bed.
The other guy's made of fire. So, initial impressions. I mean, I'm with you, Kev. I am not normally a Fantastic Four aficionado. I have a few Fantastic Four books, nothing substantial. So when you're like, hey, Alex Ross did a Fantastic Four book, and he didn't do it all in his normal, painting style. I was like, really, what is this? And it's really, as far as style goes, and we may talk about this a little bit more, I absolutely love this. It's so much more, I feel, expressionistic from his paintings, because some of his paintings feel a little stiff at times.
Yes.
I don't know if it's just the medium, but when we were reading through Kingdom Come and seeing some of the charcoal sketches when he was just doing character designs, I was like, wow, there's so much more life to it. And I feel like that's what you get kind of throughout this book. It's much more sketchy. It's much more of that charcoal life drawing stuff that really, I think, enhances the book itself.
Oh yeah.
It looks really, really good. I kind of appreciate just generally with his art in this one that it's just like gigantic pages with gigantic panels and spreads.
Yeah.
Like really, this feels like this should have just been like a 20-page issue, but he just like stretched it out to make every beat like fully drawn and just huge.
Yeah.
The art is all over the place with this thing.
It's very pop art to me. It feels very pop art, and it's kind of like a nod to Jack Kirby, because I mean, every panel that Jack Kirby drew back in the day might as well have been pop art. I mean, it's super powerful punches. I mean, he created the Marvel aesthetic, the Marvel universe. I mean, half of DC's universe, essentially, later on. But, I mean, Alex Ross loves Jack Kirby. This definitely is a love letter to Jack. And he's trying to bring that Jack Kirby energy into this realism style. So Jack Kirby is definitely more abstract, right? Very designy with his approach to creating art, and obviously on a super tight deadline. So he's cranking out pages right back in the day. With this is Alex Ross's marriage with realism, bringing what he can and trying to do his best like interpretation of Jack Kirby. And I think he really nails it. To me, this book kind of felt like almost like a dive into Star Trek. Now, like you guys, I'm not like super familiar with Fantastic Four. I do have like a Fantastic Four deep dive of Jack Kirby's like special edition kind of thing. So it's just black and white art, and you see like little notes, little story notes that he writes in the gutters for the comics and stuff. That's about my only deep dive into it. Besides those movies that were so good. Uh, but
Keep making fun of them, but it gave us Steve Rogers.
right.
It's also like, make fun of them all you want. You go back and watch those, infinitely more entertaining than like half of Marvel's current output.
True.
Like at
True.
least it's watchably bad.
Yeah.
Not just boring.
It's a fun time
You know?
still. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's not a snooze fest. But yeah, I mean Alex Ross is also he's doing realism. He's literally making the characters, like the toys of the characters, designing the outfits with his like interpretation of this 1939 like magazine, space magazine like outfit. You can see it on his Alex Ross YouTube channel. Check that out. I highly recommend it. But he does a deep dive on his character designs for this book and everything. And he literally made little figurines so he could have really quick reference to them and everything and light them really quickly and all that. So I thought this book was sick. It's definitely like a Star Trek kind of thing. You're in and you're out in one episode, you know, but you can keep going, right? So,
oh
yeah.
I absolutely love. Again, it really shows just from an artistic standpoint, and I mean, I'm happy we can just jump in. But anytime there are flashbacks, it really kind of sets a different tone.
Yes.
There's definite color differences, but to help you understand the difference between what's going on in present day and what's going on in the past. And even when we get into the negative zone, it just feels like everything is so vibrant. I get so many 60s vibes from this.
Oh yeah. Yep. You're
Just
definitely
from like, the natural color tones and everything. My gosh, I mean, it's amazing. And can I tell you, it really set the tone for me just how fun this book was going to be. You know, when you get the intro, and he immediately just starts with jokes. I mean,
yeah. It's making a sandwich.
Yeah, you got the Thing making a sandwich. He gets scared by the Human Torch. And did anybody catch the naked invisible woman joke?
I did.
Great. Oh my gosh. So good.
Because I had to reread that a couple times. I was like, oh, I get it. This bubble is coming from the Invisible Woman.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But it's because she doesn't have clothes on, and she's
well, neither did Reed, kind of. You know,
right.
Kind of thrown on his shirt as he's running.
Shirt on.
Dude, look at that hand, though.
Yeah,
oh my god.
Married with kids in this book, so.
Yeah.
Oh, did you call out the hand, Manny? The hand where he's
putting
like the
putting on the shirt, and it's just like the hand coming to the camera. It looks so good. Oh my gosh.
I also love just when Sue comes back. The next time we see her, she's just in a robe.
Right. Yeah. She quickly goes to get it. Yeah. Goes to get her robe.
Not mentioned at all.
By the way, before we deep dive here real quick, this is the book I'm talking about. It's Jack Kirby's Fantastic Four Artisan Edition. So this is like diving in. These are all the inked pages and stuff, but you can see on the gutters there's like notes that Jack was writing for the story, and maybe Stan went with it, maybe he didn't. But yeah, it's pretty amazing art on display here, for sure.
The originator.
Yeah, it's pretty great. But yeah, like as soon as we dive in though, this guy that we come across that just floats in is directly after a Jack Kirby story from back in the day, or a Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. When the Thing is walking through the rain, he's down in the dumps, and then he passes out on this dude's couch, and this dude basically clones him and acts as the Thing. This is like the sequel to that story, basically. This is Alex Ross's like take on that. And he's doing.
The name of that original comic? Is that even in this book?
I don't know exactly. But I thought that was a pretty amazing nod to what came before. It's just like, oh, what happens after this, you know? And then Alex Ross just runs with it.
It really just shows how much of a fan Alex Ross was. Like,
Dude,
you were talking, man, about these characters, about it feels, this entire book feels like a love letter from Alex Ross to Jack Kirby.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's also ripping from the Jack Kirby like panels, because there's this panel right here that I'm looking at. This it's like when Jack Kirby was messing with collage for a cover, for a Fantastic Four cover. He drew in Reed Richards like floating in like the negative area, and just these crazy like wacky like circles, planets, textures and stuff. Jack Kirby was just ripping from magazines, putting it on the board, and then they went with it. He was literally experimenting on the job and getting it done. And then Alex Ross just has a nod to that as well. And I mean a whole bunch of other scenes too, like when the Thing is walking into the living room, there's a painting on the wall, and that painting, the artist is written Kirby.
Kirby.
Yeah, so it's pretty great. So it's first like few pages we're in Kirby land, dude.
I mean, it really just looks like. I mean, it just looks like Kirby right off
Right.
the bat. Like,
And this limited color palette too. I am a fan of it. I love it. I think this works instead of just like doing a whole bunch of rendering and stuff. I really hope that Alex Ross like keeps going with this direction on some more projects.
honestly, I just like how. What is the difference in Ben Grimm's grip strength that causes him to go from holding a sandwich to it absolutely exploding?
Yeah. Crunch.
He has crunch in there, but I think there's like, you know, there's like
Yeah.
gotta be some better way
Yeah.
of.
Like, because I carefully kind of studied like the hand animation there. He's got it
Yeah.
two hands,
Uh-huh.
two hands. He's still holding it, and so like what I imagine is happening is that he's getting it close to his head, you know, and he's about to take that bite and then get scared. So, like, what realistically do you do with your hands at that point? You know what I mean? Like, do you just close down on it, like, or
Yeah,
I don't know. This is something that
interlace,
trip me up.
interlace your fingers. You like they come together.
Yeah, like you're trying to catch something in between your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because it's kind of just, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're all trying to animate this sequence.
Well, so I have to say, I mean, I think Manny, you can probably agree with this. It is kind of a challenge if you ever hand something off to somebody else to color.
Oh yeah.
Or add anything to. They may not understand where some of the implicit lines are. But there is some miscoloring, it looks like, between what would be the Thing's right hand, his pinky, and his ring finger, or whatever that, you know, middle digit is, because he's only got 4 fingers on each hand.
Yeah.
There's another overlapping finger, but it's missing a segment, and it's actually colored as a part of Johnny Storm's t-shirt. So if we have to nitpick anything, that's probably the only thing that I'm like, oh, that's a little odd, but it happens. This is the only time that something gets miscolored in a comic book.
Right.
Well, it's also like the lettuce is also like blue and green and pink, you know? Like, I just think that like it's to create that kind of bleeding, swashy color look. Yeah. And then he's got a shirt full of sandwich.
Shirt sandwich.
I love that this is also the only time we see him in a shirt.
Yeah, and then he's just in trunks the rest of the book.
Oh, there's even a call out to that, which I think
Yeah.
is fantastic.
It's like, so these are still the trunks, huh? Oh, all right.
Everybody else gets a new suit, not me.
I like, you know, it seems so simple and so obvious, but like making a character who's just really stretchy rubber man
Uh-huh.
like lets you do so much with a comic book. You know, like the amount you can lead the eye and like use space in weird ways, and like this is like there's like infinite possibilities as an artist. I feel like it's easier to come up with cool things to do drawing Mr. Fantastic than there is like writing Mr. Fantastic. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. I was thinking like if he's like getting surrounded by people, he can just like stretch out some fists on his back and stuff, you know, and just stretch them out and punch him. I was just trying to come up with different ways in my mind on how to punch somebody if you're Mr. Fantastic. Like in a weird situation, and then just your chin does a punch. I don't know. Just so weird. So cartoony.
I think so. That's the one thing. I mean, I could be wrong. Again, I'm not a Fantastic Four fan. or a huge follower. It seems like to me he's very much he's bounded by the fact that he can stretch everything. He just can't create multiple of something. Where it's like, you have characters like Plastic Man or trying to think of others like in the DC space where they can just completely morph their body.
Clayface.
Oh yeah, Clayface.
Clayface.
Yeah.
But it seems like that is one of the limits to his ability. He can stretch pretty far, even he has limitations on where he can stretch, and he can't mold things into himself. Although, I say this, and if anybody is a One Piece fan, I mean, maybe they pull some inspiration from Monkey D. Luffy and just how Reed Richards could, I don't know, punch really fast with stretchy powers. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know.
I don't know. One way to find out, just got to read all of One Piece.
Or read all Fantastic Four.
Right, yeah.
Which one has more issues?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's getting pretty close.
They're probably close.
Yeah, but this book, I mean, they got I loved the design of these, like, parasitic negative zone fucking spider.
Dude, the creatures are insane.
Nightmares.
Yeah.
Like, I like that there was a variety of them too. Like, it wasn't
a
uniform, like, spider thing. It was like there was like bats and snakes and worms and scorpions and.
They kind of reminded me of the little face sucker in Alien, in this sequence. Just see those all over the place. But it's awesome.
100%.
Yeah.
Isn't there a call out to it as well?
Yeah. He calls it, Johnny Storm calls it a Ridley Scott nightmare.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. That's good.
To date the book, I guess it takes place after 1979.
True. Which would be on point. I feel like.
See, I really thought this book did keep me guessing, because with this initial explosion of creatures from this being's body, it seemed like everybody was well protected. You got Ben Grimm, he's a rock, and he talks about, like, he's covering his face, trying to make sure they don't get in his mouth. Johnny Storm's completely engulfed in flames, so they're not getting him. Sue has her force field. But Reed is there, and, like, afterwards, he's the only one that shows any kind of aftermath of this. I kind of saw, like, all the little goo and stuff laying on him, almost, Venom suit-esque, like symbiote-esque. And I was like, that would be really cool if it played into, Reed's possessed. You've got the guy who's, like, the brains of the outfit, and he needs to be saved. They didn't take it that direction, which made me a little sad. That got me guessing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I honestly wonder how often, like, the Fantastic Four use the trope of, like, kind of body snatching Venom stuff, like things that push the group apart. Like, how often that happens. I imagine a good amount, but, like, also it would kind of ruin you as, like, a writer with the core dynamic of the characters, and that being, like, your main toolbox to use to get through a story. And, like, when you have them, like, split apart, you're like, oh, I have to spend so much time doing this. I would rather just use them to tell genre fiction, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. But what good dynamics.
Right. Very good.
And, like, Reed Richards is supposed to be the smartest man alive. Like, that... I don't know. I'm pretty dumb. I don't know if I could write the smartest man alive.
Just got to be very vague, No, we
can't. Just say big words.
Big words.
I love the technobabble.
Yeah.
The technobabble is great in this book, and that's, like, also aiding in the Star Trek kind of vibe that this book has. One thing that I thought was very Star Trek about this book, we'll get into it later, and I'll give you in just a sec, Ben. But there's no fighting to a conclusion in this book at all.
Oh yeah.
The climax of this book happens, like, in the first half of it, basically. The rest of it is just like, and then we went to a planet and talked to a bunch of people and everything.
That's exactly how I was like, why I was like, this is like Star Trek, because now it's just conversation, and like, you saved my life, you made me a better man, yeah. You're welcome.
I kind of got that vibe too, and it's not only just the vibe of the Star Trek-esque writing and plot. I'm pretty sure there's just, and you guys tell me if I'm crazy. There's just a blatant call out to Leonard Nimoy, uh, in towards the end of this book. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, when we get there, I will say like, look, does that not look like Spock?
Oh,
Oh, I think I know who you're talking
yeah.
about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah, there is one character when they get towards the end of this that I'm like, I'm pretty sure. Not only is he a Kirby fan, he is a Star Trek fan.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
the way this is written, and then kind of the cameo that he has.
This guy.
Yeah, this guy. Yeah. For sure. It's gotta
Yeah,
be.
they gave him pointy Vulcan ears and everything.
It's like, that's him.
I was a big fan of Giant Forehead Woman.
Yeah.
man.
Giant forehead woman.
You know, she's got a projection screen up there.
I wanted to know more about those characters.
Right.
We don't get enough.
Yeah. No, we're only here for him.
That's right.
Looks like he kind of modeled Johnny Storm off JFK here.
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, he's like a northeastern playboy. You know what I mean?
True.
Yep. Shoot, the
It's
characters.
definitely like
I know
every
that-
angle now. That's all I can see.
Yeah. JFK.
Yeah.
But just to kind of go back, when they go into the negative zone, and I don't,
Oh, this is so cool.
I'm not great at techno babble, so Kev, you'll have to help me out as far as like catching some plot points that may mean more. But that jump into it, where you've got the different colors, kind of showing the different ways that they are being interacted or introduced into the negative zone, and then all this charcoal work. I mean, it just all looks like heavy charcoal and, like you were saying, some black paint
Yeah.
for like the super darks. It's amazing from like a fine art standpoint.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. He's insane. Dude, I love the panel design in this. How it's just like those 3 panels are diagonal, different colors. And then we just dive right into like the double page spread of everyone just flying in with that crazy background. I'm just like, I'm stealing that idea. That's cool.
I like, yeah, this is like, he just takes so much time with these giant spreads. There were so many of them that, like, again, this is probably only a 20-page book, but because he told it this way, it's just got to spread out some.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, I love it. I loved it. And I love the we missed this the very beginning, but the intro of like how everyone got their powers is just on the dust cover. So like every
Yeah,
part of this book,
massive dust cover.
yeah, every part of this book is just telling a story pretty much. So I thought that was a neat idea. Just like,
Yeah,
yep, this is how they did it. Boom.
Do y'all know much about Abrams comics art? I'm a little ignorant. But you know, the people that like Marvel teamed up with to do this giant prestige format with Alex Ross.
Yeah, no, I no
way.
No idea. I haven't looked into him.
About it in his off panel, but I don't really remember. I don't know if they had anything to do with the Marvels that he released, or if like a new edition of the Marvels that he released. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I know the Marvels. The Marvels was in 1993.
Yeah.
And then the Justice League, Kingdom Come. But yeah, have they been around for that long? Do you know, or is that?
I can't remember honestly.
Okay.
I feel bad. Let me do some googling.
Yeah, just look that up.
I mean, you just talking about book formatting, and I mean, we're all out of order here, but you know, to your point, the dust jacket, just everything about this book feels amazing. I love the dust jacket and the fact that it kind of folds out into a couple of sections, like you said, to tell some backstory. The inside covers giving you that awesome.
Oh yeah, they're so good.
Look at the Fantastic Four, kind of that pinup vibe, and the feel of the there's the very first inside page that has almost that heavy newsprint quality, and it's the same with uh, the back insert page. It kind of bookends itself where, we're transporting you into this world, but know that it is of its own time. Like,
Yeah.
even the paper quality is helping to kind of transition you into this mindset of when this story takes place and when it was essentially conceived. Because again, thinking of Alex Ross as a kid, he was reading this back when, newspapers were still popular, and you could go out and you would read the Sunday comics, and you'd go buy comics for like a quarter a piece. And oh my gosh, it's just everything. The inside page texture is fantastic.
Yeah, I love the feel of the book too, for sure.
This book was so like crisp when I opened this thing up.
Mm-hmm.
It was like crunching and crinkling when
Yeah.
I was like turning pages. It was like
When I got to like the middle of the book, it was like it was
It.
sealed together, like it was
I think
cracking.
for the good reasons.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I have to say that's also because there's a huge part. There's one single page that's all black.
Yeah, it was that part.
And
Yep.
It's very hard for black to dry quickly. So if they're not letting those pages cure out, like, black gets really tacky.
That's a good catch. Yeah, it was definitely that page that was just like crack, crack, crack. I was like, oh god. Oh man.
But I can tell you, it was just the one that Kev's on right now. This gave me the most Kingdom Come vibes. That black transition into the red and black. That took me back. I'm like, all right, now this is kind of pure Alex Ross. So
Yeah.
I was wondering at this point if we were going to transition into something different. He still kind of went back to theme for the book. But for a minute there, I'm like, ooh, this could get interesting if he changes up art style kind of midway through. But
oh yeah. Dude, I mean, this sequence right here when this dude's eating those like nightmare creatures and everyone's turned invisible in the background. This is just
a nihilist, right?
Yeah.
It took me a while to figure out what this was, what I was looking at, honestly.
Yeah, it's awesome. Because I remember seeing old Jack Kirby sketches, character sketches from back in the day, and he was using is it those Phillips dyes or I forget the name of them, but they're dyes that people would use back in the day for really rich colors and stuff, and that you would dilute the color with like drops of water. Like it would be like 1 part dye, 4 parts water. So you would dilute it a lot. But Jack Kirby did a lot of character sketches and character designs, and they look like this, like how Alex Ross is painting this thing. And so it's just like he's doing his research, man. He's diving into all that stuff and eating it up, and then here we go. This is what it looks like. This is why I chose that color palette. It's so cool.
Dude, yeah. Well, it's also like
Doc Martin dies. Boom. That's what it was. Wait.
Doc Martin dies. Yeah. Okay, that sounds familiar.
Is it? It's Doc Martin? Anyway.
Yeah, no, it's Doc Martin dies.
Okay.
And then again, back to the Ridley Scott nightmare on the next page. I mean, y'all, I really liked that Prince was the villain in this book. Because he was on fire. What was this villain's name, actually? Do we get a name?
We do. It was a former college colleague of Reed's, which, as always, what is it, Giannis?
Yeah,
Looks
Giannis.
like Giannis. Dude, yeah, when you get like his full nightmare creature inception, like I had to stare at that 2-page spread. That was just awesome.
Too cool, man.
That's
That's one of my favorite pages. But right here is this whole sequence. I was like, I get everything on this page for this double page spread. Are you kidding me? I love this page.
Oh, man.
Well, that was something I was curious about from if either of you guys knew. Because again, Kev, you keep saying it's a 20-page story. I mean, with as many 2-page spreads as he's doing in here, I do feel like some of these you could have like shrank them to a half page or something like that. I love the fact that we get this in such a large format.
Yeah.
It also makes me wonder what size he's working at for this, because
good question.
I think he's doing 2 sizes up from this. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. But yeah, because and another question is, how fast is he going? Because I saw an interview on his channel, on his YouTube channel, and he was inking one of the panels from this book as he was talking. The video was 10 minutes, and he got that panel done in 10 minutes, like inking it. And I'm just like, so is he like getting these pages done in like 3 hours every time when he's inking like that? Like,
right.
it's insanity. With this much detail.
He said it took him about 3 months.
3 months for how many pages is it? 64 pages?
I don't know if it's even 64. Or maybe he said it was 3 months to do like an issue. So maybe this took a little bit longer.
Because I know he wrote and drew it. So, but
yeah, I mean, because while he was doing this, he was also doing all the cover work that he
Yeah.
does and stuff. So
yeah.
it takes him longer.
Oh, and he definitely, he did some colors as well. So with Josh Johnson.
I mean, I think one of the scariest jobs in the world probably has to be coloring for Alex Ross. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You definitely need to be
You're like,
directed by him
what
at
do you
least.
want?
Yeah. What do you want? Yeah.
That's where, Alex, can you do the first couple of pages and then I'll just follow your lead? Right? How's that?
Or like one panel for every page or every other panel, or I don't know.
Yeah. He was like, I don't know. So then there's like this 2-page spread, and I was just thinking, it looks something like this. Like, oh yeah, I'll just whip something up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, man. That's so funny.
I wonder how many faces in here are like nods to old villains or anything like that. Like,
Oh,
if there's any
yeah.
Easter eggs on this giant
There definitely has to be.
alien faces, yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Everything that he loved is most likely put into this. Yeah, like that
God, it
Jack
looks so
Kirby
good.
monster, that one. So.
I was just looking for like some kind of Marvel villain things as well, and I couldn't pick anything out. I was like, I don't know, maybe they have one of the Brood in there or something like that. I was looking for anything that was kind of extraterrestrial, and
nope, just Prince.
Yeah, just Prince.
So dope. So cool. And then we get some more. I mean, everything else is pretty much amazing too.
Did either of you guys feel a little bit anticlimactic in this? Because I think, like you were saying, Kev, there's no true, like, we're going to fight this big bad and be done with it. It's like we go from escape Giannis to Annihilus pops up and we blast Annihilus, and now we got to hurry up and escape. Like, we've got to somehow outrun this Janus guy who has full control over a majority of the negative zone. Not all of the negative zone, but a lot of it. I don't know. A lot of it was just like, ooh, cool, but you're running away. That's not what heroes really do. But I don't know. Maybe
doesn't he like have a justification for running away too?
Probably.
Yeah, I was just staring at art, mainly that half of it. I was just like, that's cool. We're in nightmares, all right, and we're on a planet.
Nightmare.
Dude, this page too with freaking Reed just stretching all around, getting stretched up.
Dude, the way they the way they like kind of illustrate the like nanomaterials or whatever, or what is the word that he used for the particles that don't stop moving, and like this is like the reflection in all their suits with the pink and the blue and like
Yeah.
the yellowy green, like
Yeah.
just looks kind of like oil and water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The null force infused suits.
Yeah. Yeah, he did it, man. Nailed it. Looks so good.
Yeah, really. Like, I had to read this twice because I like didn't even like get the story the first time around. Not that I didn't understand it, but that I just wasn't really paying attention. Like,
Uh-huh.
I was just kind of like, "Whoa, look at this page." And
Yeah.
then you go, "Whoa, look at this page."
Yeah. Whoa.
Which I love that comics still do to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like the art I gravitate towards, where I just kind of like stare at it and I'm just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
whoa."
Yep.
And that's like the stuff that gets me the most. And that's
I
pretty
mean,
much Alex Ross's bread and butter.
Mm.
he gets to do fun things. Like I love the page that Kev you're on where things punching stuff and there's things splurting. You get to see Reed punch Janus and like
Oh,
split his
yeah.
face and
Yeah.
all this goofy cool stuff that he gets to play with. And then again, just so much Kirby when they're trying to get away from this negative zone. They blast out through the planet, and you finally get to see this sprawling entity across space.
Yeah.
It's just that space feels just like, a celestial being that Kirby would draw.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good.
Just giant talking face, giant talking head just in space.
And like the colors on this face just remind me a lot of like Italian horror movies from the 70s where they use like really psychedelic lighting and like intense close-ups and like weird distortions, like specifically this one where it's like the duplicated head in the sky. Like, it's just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's very trippy, like going from Trad Moore's Doctor Strange book to this and just seeing like how you can draw the trippiness. It's pretty sick. There's like these two dudes with different skill sets just going at it and really pushing it, man. Really cool to see. Really cool to see.
Crackle on this panel. Rad. Give me that
Kirby crack.
Well, and for like that French movie vibe, wouldn't they play like well-known music over the top of it that they wouldn't have rights to? So it's almost like you could have Prince in the background being like "Purple Rain," just something weird.
Honestly, no, it was probably some intense like stabbing score.
Yeah.
70s Italian movies also, they had like the great like original composers of like electronic music like scores from movies. Like, what's their name? Tangerine Dream and like Goblin and a bunch of people like that who like did these soundtracks that are just super just trippy like synthesizer music.
Ooh.
That would just complement this stuff like really well. Just like images of women being stabbed brutally with like blood splattering and like pink and purple and yellow lights like flashing over their faces and stuff would be really crazy. Watch movies like Suspiria and the bird with the crystal plumage and stuff like that. Which are all on Shudder.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Shudder's pretty sick.
Yeah, this page with the descent. I love that like
this is
one
awesome.
thing that I found very interesting about this like whole book is like in every moment where their powers are needed, like Reed is just like, Johnny, blow us a hole through this planet.
Yeah.
And then, like,
yes, sir.
Johnny's like, you got it, and then just like does it, and like that's just how the whole book. He's like, Sue, give us a platform to sit on. She's like, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, done. Got it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Stanley. You're welcome.
Thanks, Stanley.
Like, I guess that would make sense. Like, it's a 60s and 70s comic.
Yeah.
So.
And then Jack Kirby's like, that was my I thought about that first.
Who was writing the dialogue?
Huh?
For the book?
Yeah, for Fantastic Four books back in the day. Was it Stan or Jack that did the dialogue?
So Jack wrote in stuff, and then Stanley basically wrote on top of it.
Yeah.
And most of the time. He did that with a lot of stuff, and I think Jack Kirby found out later on, was just like, dude, what? And also, like, some people inking his work, he didn't realize people were, like, leaving things out or whatever until he saw it in, like, Marvel books or whatever, and then he called up his inker and started yelling at him, like, how dare you ruin my work? Blah, blah, blah. And then I think that's about around the time he was at DC, and he started training a kid. He moved to LA at the time. I forget the artist's name, but he started training this kid, and this kid was inking his work, and he changed something, and then he flipped out. Like, Jack Kirby was like, "No, you're not doing that." And then he was like, "Okay, you got it. My bad. My bad." So,
Who am I to argue with Jack Kirby?
yeah, he was just like, ever since then, did not simplify anything. I just inked whatever Jack gave me or whatever. So, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't disrespect the king like
yeah,
that.
I mean that's why he did the Fourth World, was like, this is something that no one else is gonna touch but me. So let me just go all out on it. He did. It got mixed reviews, and then DC basically like canceled the book after a while. But that kind of like broke Jack's heart in a way. So that I'm pretty sure that's probably around the time where he started to get really deflated and getting like out of comics and going to animation instead. But I could have that mixed up a little bit.
This damn comics industry.
I know.
Yeah, no.
Comics will break your heart, kid.
Yeah.
That was his big saying. Comics will break your heart. So, God.
Can we go to the next page and look at
Whoa.
Alex Ross's version of the Living Planet Ego?
Yeah. It's
Anti-Earth.
crazy.
I feel like, this is just him drawing the Earth, but I was really waiting for a face to form on here because,
Right.
again, this just being a love letter to Kirby. I'm like, come on, give me a little Planet Ego or something like that.
Dude, this is wacky. There's like sci-fi stuff I'm putting together, right? And this book is basically just like, yeah, you could do this with it too. Like, this is like, I'm just taking notes basically, especially with the space scenes. This planet looks so good with all those freaking asteroids all around it and everything.
Yeah, crazy concept.
Yeah.
Planet, just like with a barrier that destroys everything.
Yeah. So
There's
cool.
just like this debris field around it.
Just the speed lines going straight to the planet too. All that texture is basically just shit just flying at the planet.
Yeah. Well, I know we talked about this briefly, and this isn't Fantastic Four, but there is a separate comic book company. It's no longer around, that went bankrupt early 2000s. But the comic book is called Negation. Kev, I know I told you, like, you've got to read this. But Manny, for some of the weird space travel and the way to handle just different planets and atmospheres and building different worlds and everything, you'll have to check that out too.
Hell yeah.
I think you're right. This kind of gives you the toolkit for, like, what can you do with space, and we don't live in it, and it's hard to remember. It's like, we can just make it your playground. Like,
Yeah.
why you don't have to be limited by things in space.
Yeah.
We don't know what it's like, so.
Oh, man. Yeah. There's also this other book called Decorum by Image. Who I think it was Matt Kintz, and let me see. Or no, it's John Hickman and Mike Huddleston. So.
Oh yeah, they're doing the whole.
Yeah, this book has like crazy space stuff in it with like crazy textures and everything. So if anyone's interested on that, there's like, of course, little notes and stuff from Hickman for like lore and everything. But like the way this is colored to the design aspect and everything, it's a lot of notes to take from this book too. But I'm just taking it all in, man. Just trying to make something real sick. And Alex Ross also did that.
That looks cool.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh yeah. I want to check it out. It's different.
I know the one you were talking about, some of the ways that you're like panel layouts and everything like that.
Yeah.
I love the panel layout when they're descending into this new area, into whatever this anti-Earth is, and you've got like the awesome 4-up character shot and Sue's bubble, and then just those additional cutout panels, all kind of leading you down into them breaking into this Earth's atmosphere, and then to that like full page layout on the right hand side when they're literally dropping out of space into this city.
Yeah.
So flipping good.
Yeah. It's definitely like straight out of like a Jack Kirby cover with that like city design.
Yeah.
Like there's layouts like that are pretty similar. It also kind of reminds me of the Inkle, you know, when he's falling from in the beginning.
Those vertical shots of the giant like city.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe it's just because there's a city, there's bridges and all this, and it's like super big. But I don't know, it makes me think of that futuristic city. But,
totally.
Yeah.
Same deal. It also, people falling just always makes me think of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The sequence where he's just falling out, and then like he's like, "Do you need a spare?" And then they give him a spare tire. It's one of like the only instances where Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse are on like the same frame.
Yeah.
Like historically, I love that.
Yeah.
I wish, just on a personal level, one of the last pages that I drew for the Time Police is this huge establishing shot of this new city, and lots of just layering buildings and vehicles and everything like that. I'm like, oh man, if only I would have ran into this book, this could have just helped me out with so many things that I was struggling with.
Yeah,
when I was trying to draw that. I'm like, oh, this would have taught me so many things just by looking at it. But now I'm like, okay, this can help with the next time I do something like that. It's so good.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm gonna try to talk James into be like, can we just have somebody fall from a height in the city? Got it covered. I've got it.
Good idea.
Yeah. Burned it into my memory. It's no big deal.
I mean, that's like loosely how Manny and I work. When he's like, I want to draw this thing and I want it to look like this. I'm like, okay. Make that work. That's kind of how Renowned was made too, because I just had the card art and I was like, okay, how do I write a comic book centered around these things?
So I'm thinking, he's fighting this thing and it comes out of the water like blah blah blah.
It's like a big frog.
You know Samurai Jack, right? It was yeah.
Yeah, I love how your guys' conversations, there's lots of sound effects. And you guys are like, yeah, we're on the same page. We got it. Right there.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Where, like, Manny would be like drawing in his room, and I'd like come in, like we'd be looking at pages and like that he was working on, and he was trying to get the right like sound effect, and we'd both just like try to like phonetically like sound and spell out. Like,
is it a gush?
Flirt, like
Swab wab wab wab. How do you spell wob 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 wob? You know, like how do you make it work? They're all questions for a cartoonist.
Comics are fun. I would literally hear Manny like making those sounds, like, but he's like braka 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 in the other room. It's part of his process.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Dude, I love this like the retrofuturism thing that like he's really bringing with the Fantastic Four, where it looks like it was a design of the future, but designed in 1960.
Dude, what's crazy is that when going back to Jack Kirby a little bit, he went to a fair like back in the day.
World Fair?
The World Fair back in the day. Yeah, was it like 1930s? or so.
Yeah, like 39, 38 or 39 was a really big one.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
went to that, and they had all this futuristic stuff, and that is what like inspired Jack Kirby to design stuff like this. And on top of that, he was drawing stuff like that in that way, and the FBI came up to his door one day and was like, "How did you know about this?" Basically, or where did you get this idea? And he was like, "I just drew it, man. I know, I don't know what you're talking
You know
about."
about
Took
you know
lots of
about Sid Mead, right?
Sid Mead. What about him?
You know about him, right?
Uh huh.
Just his art
Yeah.
and how it's all the same shit. Like it's like he basically created like the retro futurism thing. The biggest way I can pull this up. Yeah. These sketches of the future. He was like very like vocally inspired by like those world fairs of the 1950s and 60s.
That's crazy.
Above
Yeah.
me where Manny's stream was. Like, you know, I can't. I wish there was years attached to these because it's like way earlier than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1933. Is this what this says?
Wow. Holy shit.
No, this was definitely later than that. But
That's still. That's wacky.
it's like him and Mobius are basically like the people that everyone just like ripped the designs of like what futuristic means.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, and like obviously you can just look at these and see like the influence on like everything that this had.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He was the guy.
That's amazing.
Well, so
low res.
I have a question, right? Because we're seeing there's a lot of city design from what he's able to pull influence from back in the day. So, you know, back when Kirby was doing all this stuff, did they have furries? Because then you know, Alex Ross, you know, he's got his little lion.
That's right.
And they make the lizard.
Alex Ross's persona is actually a lion. The furry lion speaks like Arabic. Or whatever this like futuristic script is. I mean, we got some good people. We got the forehead. We got
The forehead.
Spock.
Yeah.
We got the persona. This is like, you know. I don't. The thing is like what confused me about having the like persona was basically that like he describes like naturally how the course of human evolution like progressed on this planet and like how society progressed and like what values they have and like what circumstances led to like what things, and I was like, that's cool. Where the hell did the lion guy come from? What evolutionary choices like were made? Like what happened? Because most like this guy got ears,
right?
But this is a lion. Like what?
Well, and where did Forehead Girl come from? Because I don't know what she is.
Well, that's obviously to make room for her brain.
Well, oh, okay. Gotcha.
Her brain is just gigantic, so she needs all that extra head.
But did you notice there's also like cheek hair that like comes down really long?
It's got mutton chops.
Under cheek hair, yeah, like massive mutton chops.
Massive chops. Yeah.
I mean, I love the style. You know, would smash, but
would smash.
Well, like no, it's like that's like very much like a Star Trek like villain design or like a alien design. It's
yeah,
like
for
person,
sure.
But then with like shit like glued to their face, basically.
Yeah, more ridges on the forehead, please. Thank you. Yeah.
They're like, what if we gave this nose a weird little bump, and now it's an alien? Like, oh, okay.
All I can think of now is nice legs for a human.
Oh my gosh, dude! When we've got our reveal of the guy that impersonated the thing in the suit. Number one, the suit looks awesome.
Oh yeah.
Again, a Jack Kirby inspired mech suit. This thing looks phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
I love all the trim and detail and the edge work that he has laid out in the metal. And then he takes off the helmet and you get that wonderful Kirby dot pattern.
Yep.
Like a smoking anti-material or you know, space plasma, whatever it is, just looks so phenomenal.
Yeah, the way that energy is drawn out is pretty sweet, and I love the lighting on his face, just like
Yes.
all of it with that orange and that blue. Man, it's so cool, and his giant freaking brow. Oh my goodness.
his 20 head.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love characters that look like that, dude.
One of my favorite details on character designs is the fat folds on the neck, like the way that all like rolls together like that. Like, cause my
Yeah.
head's covered with hair. I don't know if that's what my head looks like, but if it does, that's pretty cool.
It's got some shape to it.
Yeah, dude, he's got shapes. You could lose a finger in there. You know what I'm saying?
It's got a bicep on the back of the neck right there.
Hell yeah. Flex your neck.
Yeah. Doing some neck press today.
And now we're back on Spock and Forehead.
Yeah.
And the whole gang's here. There's like a robot ninja in the back, and a guy wearing a helmet, and an elf. Why not? You know, like, is this like the Federation of Planets? Like, are there more than one planet, or maybe there's like Lion Guy? Maybe there's a whole planet of Fursonas.
Maybe.
Maybe there's a whole planet of Bronies. You never know.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Bronies.
In a universe where there are theoretically infinite possibilities, there is a planet full of brownies.
For sure. For sure. They deem it to be.
I wanna create a planet Furudo or something like that, where it's just whole planet of furries.
And Renowned is now a furry book. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
You definitely make some furry characters.
Yeah, Furudo, here we go. We speak Furrinese? I don't know.
Furmies.
Furnese, yeah.
We speak Furdu.
Furdu.
Urdu. You know, the language that people of Bangladesh speak.
Oh, see, you're getting fancy.
Yeah.
Language books. Yeah.
Like.
Also, I love that we gave Reed a fat donk in this panel up here.
Hell yeah.
Right? Like,
Look at that. Look at that donk, man.
because if there's one thing that the smartest man in the world is, it's also fuckable.
With a brain like that, man. Gosh, he's got to have a donk, you know?
Yeah, I do want to see a follow up with, you know, Big Head, where he's like wearing a suit made out of the material Reed gave him, because like I want to believe that his head is just really big and his suit is like super jacked, but he's just like a little tiny guy in there. Yeah.
You get a very brief glimpse of it before
Yeah.
you leave.
Yeah.
You're standing there rubbing on his
He's rubbing his nipples.
It's like, thanks, bro.
Feels so good on my nipples, and you know.
Makes somebody more shapes.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I do want to say, looking at that one page when Spock and Reed are shaking hands, when I look at it fast, Reed's shoulder and bicep in the previous panel just makes it look like Spock's got a big booty too, you know, and it just like goes down like the thigh. You see that? I don't know.
I see it now.
Yeah.
He's
I like
got
that
a
they-
massive donk.
Well, I like that they gave him a penis bulge.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do that, but
We
it's
got
there.
it. You got it.
I mean, I would do it, but I don't necessarily know if Alex Ross would. I mean, I haven't even been looking at the bulges in this book, so I guess Reed's got a tiny dong.
No.
I mean, if we're going that way,
Pulled
I
in
mean,
space.
We're just, in the page before that one, we are talking about cosmic control rods.
Hey.
So take that for what you will.
Yeah.
It's also, I forget that like Reed is flexible, so maybe he just like flattens it and puts it down like his leg. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he just like gets a really tight tuck in before he starts doing his superhero business.
Always has
I was-
control. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was really hoping.
I'm
Always
glad we
in
figured
control.
that one out, guys.
Doing the white horses tuck. Just
Yeah.
God.
Oh, Buffalo Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just like love that they get to this planet, like basically they're just like, oh my god, we gotta run away from Prince in space. And then they land on a planet and it's like, oh, there's bad guys here. And he's like, wait, they're not actually bad guys. That's the doctor. Oh, doctor, here's some technology. The doctor's like, here's some magic bracelets that will shoot you back into Earth. And he's like, tight, bet. And then that's the end of the story.
Yeah. Comic
Exactly.
comic book knowledge right there.
There's like
God.
no conflict at the end. Like they're just like, holy shit, there's a conflict, and then they run away from it.
Yeah.
When couple,
And
like,
even
when couple powers activate, and
the-
then they all magically get transported back.
and the thing goes, no explosions. Like he even comments on that. You know. Great.
And then just like the book began, that's how it's gonna end. We're gonna make a sandwich.
Yeah. Tie it all together. Tie it all together,
Yeah.
man.
I love the ending like conversation between Reed and Ben.
Yeah.
Because it's like I heard Alex Ross talk about this like as like an idea he had for Reed Richards is that eventually Reed Richards would become aware that he's in a comic book basically, like that he's a part, like he literally is like under the puppet strings of some master puppeteer creating all the machinations of his universe.
Yeah.
And like there's an allusion to that basically, like where he says in the last one, makes you think about the whole nature of existence. I wonder what it all reveals about a guiding hand over our lives. Are we merely playthings to some greater forces? Like indicating there's some form of self-awareness. Like readers is like, wait a minute, are we just being written by a bunch of old Jewish guys, or what's going on?
Well, I love the fact that like here he even brings it up in the panel above that, the one that you read from, Kev. It's like even a nihilist may be a manifestation of our subconscious. It's like, okay, so we're just thinking our villains into being. Like,
Yep. Yes.
The only reason they exist is because we exist. So, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
He's getting there.
Really good call out there. And like I just thought like he only really did all this techno babble about like everything is psychoreactive, like to justify him like shoehorning in like, oh, and it's because Reed Richards is a genius and is like gaining self-awareness of what's going on around him, which I think is cool, but like it's also like so fast and so out of nowhere. He's like, Ben, I was thinking about something.
He's like, dude, I'm trying to eat.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about this right now.
I got home. I'm hungry. I'm gonna make a sandwich. And Alex Ross is like, wait. I just want to throw this in real quick. What about okay, the end.
Yeah, right. Dude, I love that panel in the middle of that last page too. All that texture and then like the negative face coming through. So cool. This is space stuff. This is what you could do for space stuff, everybody. Be like Alex Ross, no big deal.
Well, ultimately, I think that this book is like a great intro into the Fantastic Four for someone who hasn't really read it. Because like, there's not deep lore that I feel like I'm missing.
Yeah, it's just a trip.
They explain everything you need, and like you can pick up enough of the dynamics. Like Ben's this kind of like oafish comic relief, and Johnny's this like younger, young buck, speed freak kind of guy.
Yeah.
Reed Richards is the smartest man in the world, and then Invisible Woman is the girl.
Yeah, and Sue's there.
No, Sue's. I actually think Sue's like a very well-handled character, though doesn't get too much spotlight in this book.
Yeah.
She's using her powers in creative ways, and she's caring for those around her. I don't know. I think that's been a criticism of the Fantastic Four through its history. Like Sue gets a little less love than others, which is valid.
That's why she runs off to Namor.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She gets freaky.
She looks great in this book. Holy crap.
Dude, I love the hair.
That is they all look phenomenal. It just, again, I hit on this. It's amazing to see what Alex Ross can do with his paint. It's just even more amazing to know that he's just a fine artist. He grew up understanding everything there is to know about art, and he can do it no matter what that medium is.
Right.
And especially when he's channeling an artist that he loves, like Jack Kirby, he can just show how much a master at his craft the person that he saw as a master was. So just amazing.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Definitely highly recommend picking this book up. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's just cool to see Alex Ross do interiors, you know. There's a
Yeah.
billion covers by Alex Ross.
Yeah.
And like getting interiors of his is such a rarity.
Yeah.
So like
especially black and white interiors too. I mean, like, I know this is colored, but him inking it is also a treat in itself. I mean, doing all these dry brush techniques and applying what he knows and just doing it in ink form, going from paint to ink, man. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
yeah, for real.
Dog agrees with you, Manny.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. He's freaking out. He loves Alex Ross, so
He does.
he's really missing out right now. He's like, let me in.
Most dogs do.
He said, "Hell yeah."
He loved the furry guy. That's for sure.
Yeah, he was all about that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
God. Focus just looks great. It's a fun time. I mean, I think like if there are, like that's why I'm so curious about the Ryan North run on this book, or on the Fantastic Four. Is like if it's just like pulpy, fun, Star Trek-y, like go out on a planet and see some shit kind of books.
Yeah.
I'm like really into that. Especially because that makes it feel easier to pick up and put down when you have a book like a team that's been around since the 60s. Like,
yeah,
so much of the X-Men is like all in one continuity basically, and that's why it's like impossible to get into. Like, I just simply will never read all of it.
Right.
Like, but this is like feels like, oh, you could probably like read a few issues from the 60s and a few issues from the 80s and a few issues from now, and like,
yeah, if they're all like little
what's going
adventures
on.
like this,
Yeah.
it's definitely more easily to just take in. Easier to
But
take
I've
in.
also heard that Fantastic Four books before this and before Ryan North's run were like bad, and like then like when there was the dispute between Fox and Disney about like who owned what, and
Yeah,
pushing
they
the
just
Fantastic
canceled the
Four,
books.
They just like stopped releasing Fantastic
Yeah.
Four comic books until they like could reboot things for like years.
That's crazy.
And that's kind of what prompted Alex Ross to do this book. He was like, I want a Fantastic Four book. And they're like, well, no, it's not the time, basically. Like, we're saying it, but not really saying it, that they were like just holding on to it until like a release made more sense with the cinematic stuff.
Yeah.
And then he was like, okay. And they're like, guess what? We're bringing back Fantastic Four. And he's like, let me do it. And they're like, no, we're going with some other people. But you can do covers. And he was like, I want to do a book, basically.
Give me a book.
Why does that always seem like the struggle with artists that want to do a book? Because we were talking about that last week, Manny, with Tradmore wanting to do Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
It's just like, I want to do a Doctor Strange book. They're like, nah, well, you could do something else. Like,
it's like, no.
It's like, no, I want to do Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I want to do it this way. And they're like, well, I guess, no big deal. And he's like, fine, I can go do whatever I want. And they're like, wait.
All right.
You can do Doctor Strange.
All right, we'll let you.
Why is it always such a fight when it seems like these amazing artists are like, I want to do a book front to back, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and then the editors and stuff and people in charge are like, no, you're not ready. I'm like, no, clearly they're ready. They're like chomping at the bit to do the book. Let them do the book, please.
Master storytellers. And I mean, by this time, with Alex Ross, I don't understand what the pushback was.
Right.
He's done Kingdom Come, he did Justice, he did Earth X. I mean, he did, for crying out loud, he did the Marvels and Earth X for Marvel. So clearly he knows how to visually storytell the thing. It's just this time he wants to write it too. And it boggles my mind.
Yeah.
That's one thing I wanted to say about this. You can go out and you can get any number of painted Alex Ross artwork anywhere. But if you're the least bit interested in Fantastic Four, and you want, like, I want Cliff Notes Fantastic Four. I just want to kind of, understand what the group is about, and I love Alex Ross.
Yeah.
I think this is a no-brainer. Like, this needs to be in your library. This needs to be on your bookshelf. This is just, I feel, an artist who gets to. How many love letters have we seen in these books? This is an Alex Ross love letter to comic books that he grew up with,
Yeah.
and television, just anything that inspired him. You get to see a different artistic side, and it it's just gorgeous. The formatting's wonderful. The style of this book is something that you just get to see them having fun, exploring what they wouldn't normally be allowed to because there's too much oversight into what they're doing. Just all in all, like, again, you guys recommended another like super winner for me. This one I will be flipping through and referencing, for years to come.
For sure. I'm on the same boat, dude. Beautiful.
Alex Ross.
There we go.
Yeah.
Round of applause.
And one thing I'll call out too is that like, it's like what? It's only $25. Like.
Yeah, it's
when
pretty.
it was a first edition hardcover. Like,
Yeah.
Super affordable.
Yeah,
like,
25.
Definitely worth the money. Like you get bigger than a single story, but it's also just like an art collection that you get to have in a book. Yeah, just a really solid purchase. This thing wasn't moving at comic book stores the way I thought it would. Like, I feel like every time I went to a comic book store, I saw a fucking stack of them,
What?
and I never understood why. I was like, because like even when we were at like Ultimate when we bought these, I was like, oh, we gotta get this, and I saw like a huge stack of them, and I was like, this has been out for like a week or something, and then like,
I think it is difficult because Fantastic Four. I don't know why Fantastic Four just doesn't seem to resonate, and it could be because those amazing movies that they first released just probably weren't everyone's cup of tea. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on this, and they're going to be really sorry if they missed out. Especially, I mean, the singles run of this. Good luck buying all the single issues of this for less than what this hardback.
Oh, I don't think there ever was singles. It was just the single edition.
This is it.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
Yeah, I don't think there's any issue breaks in here. It's just
if you're looking at what they price a book at now, if you're spending $4.99, $5.99, $6.99 for a book, and like you're getting this for $25, like this is freaking steal. This is amazing.
Right.
Yeah, this book rocks. Can't say enough good things. Guys, what's going on with the Fantastic Four? Are they, and we don't read these books, so I can't like give thing, but is there something that like, do they not have appeal in the modern age? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it going to take a Marvel movie to make them cool? Like,
yes.
Probably.
Is the perception that they're just old? They're too old?
It's probably that. I mean, because a lot of the heroes that we're looking at are like younger, or that younger kind of look to them. Like, Spider-Man's is teenager, like resonates with that crowd, of course. Then we got like Miss Marvel or whatever. That's like, she's not. I don't know. What is she, like late 20s, early 30s, or something like that? In the books, I'm not entirely sure, but like this is like a.
Kamala Khan is like all many different ages in many different books.
Okay. But
on the era, she's an old woman in a Twilight. I have been reading Keeping Up with Avengers Twilight.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it.
I don't know. Maybe it is the age thing though with the Fantastic Four, and I don't know.
Yeah, like like what, like because there isn't like procedural sci-fi that's popular that you could compare it to that's modern. You know what I mean? Like, the most like timely reference you can make is Star Trek, and the people who watch new Star Trek shows watch them because they like old Star Trek shows.
Yeah.
And like I feel like we can all agree, as on no matter what part of the fan base you're in for Star Trek, like Next Generation era is the best, right? Like,
Yeah.
Next Generation and Voyager and Deep Space Nine and like the movie, like right, like that's the best. Like
I'm pretty sure. That was my first deep dive into Star Trek, man. We were all in that same house.
So good.
Yeah.
I mean, you're asking what's it going to take to reboot the Fantastic Four? I think it's going to take Pedro Pascal. I think it's going to take
Yeah.
him in.
Yeah.
So I think that'll reignite a passion. And I just realized that the actress that is currently either rumored or cast, I guess they announced it, so she is cast. For Sue is Vanessa Kirby. So there you go. There's another Kirby tied to Fantastic Four.
Hey yo.
Pretty
Hey,
huge.
yo.
Pretty huge. And it's got like the kid from Stranger Things is the Torch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Which-
then the cousin from the Bear. He's the Thing. I like him a lot. I like Evan back there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I like he was what's his name in Punisher.
Yeah, the Q, was it Q? No, it wasn't Q. That's James Bond.
No, but the tech guy.
Yeah, the tech
What's
guy.
his name?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that guy.
It's not like microchip or something. It's like
Micro?
something like that. So, micro.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was. Yeah. So cool, but yeah. Well, he dies in the Punisher, right? Spoilers.
In one
Maybe
version
in
of
the
it.
first season?
No, not in the Bernthal, not in the Bernthal one.
Okay.
But he does die. In
Well, anyway, it's not the
comics.
first time we've had a guy playing two different roles in the Marvel universe.
Right.
Just look at the first Human Torch.
We did watch
and
Warzone
Captain
though.
America.
We did watch Warzone, and he died. He definitely died in that version.
Oh God, yeah, I forgot to watch that.
Oh, that was funny. Anyway, yep, that's
All
Fantastic
right.
Four.
Well, that was
Yeah.
full circle. Full circle.
Fantastic Four. Full circle. Guys, the Fantastic Four movies are amazing, except for Fan Four Stick. The Fantastic Four Full Circle by Alex Ross is also amazing.
True.
It is a great time. It's a fun read, and it is just complete eye candy. Take yourself to school, read some damn Alex Ross.
It's tasty.
Do it.
Tasty treat.
Hey, before we end this stream, because I know I've got to run off to something. Should we talk about what we're gonna do for the next one? Because we actually we know what we're gonna do, and it's probably best to tease it here.
Yeah.
Or just
True. I didn't even think about it. Dates. What are they? Because we have a very special stream coming up on our next episode. It will be with the creators of a comic book, and we're going to be talking to them about their comic book. It will be the Sams, Sam Friedman and Sam Rumsberg, talking about their new release on Mad Cave Comics, Hound. And we are very excited to talk to them. Those are good friends of the show. Good friends of the guild.
They're awesome.
We're going to be palling around, talking about some cool stuff. Manny's got it up there. My copy's in the other room. We're excited.
Hell yeah.
We're going to do our homework, do some research, read some good comics. I'm hearing nothing but amazing things. Everybody I know who's read it says it's fantastic.
Yep.
It is fantastic.
It is.
Yeah, if you don't have a copy, like go out to your local comic book store, buy Full Circle by the Fantastic Four book, and pick up a copy of Hound, because we'll be talking about it next week with the Sams.
Yeah. Give it a shot.
Very excited.
Give it a shot. All right.
All right, y'all. We're going to call it here. But
Let's do it.
Remember, support your local comic book stores, read more comics, make more comics, join the Discord.
Yeah.
Talk to lots of comic fans, comic creators, artists, aficionados, nerds, geeks, freaks, bronies,
Brownies.
balonies,
Furries.
and
Balonies.
Furries.
law tigers.
Lots.
Yeah, Law Tiger. Fair enough. Law Tiger coming to you in the next Renown book.
That's my persona is actually the law tiger. All right, y'all.
All right.
Have a great night.
Peace.
Bye.